2 years ago, Winter Storm Leon left most of the South blanketed in several inches of snow due to the massive commuters hitting the roads. In Atlanta at the same time, many simply trying to get home to pick up their kids at school or last-minute groceries. Snowmageddon 2014 was born. Drivers actually abandoned their cars on the surface streets or helplessly slept in their cars in the middle of the major highways. Students stranded curled up on the gym floors at their schools. This is a scene we will not soon forget, but it is one we should expect to see again if we don't make significant changes. Atlanta is slowly being crushed under its own weight. While metropolitan Atlanta has had a long going for over the past half century in terms of growth, it is a mess from a regional transportation planning viewpoint. In fact, according to the AGC, only 2 states had lower per capita highway spending, South Carolina and Tennessee. Surrogates of August 7th, 2012 at the AGC.com. And there is very little viable public transportation available. The time has come to tackle this problem head on by developing rail service along the 400 corridor. In order to begin slowly in the 400 corridor traffic problem, resources must be dedicated to developing and providing heavy rail service to Norfolk and Fulton counties. We will first explore the problem of road congestion along the 400 corridor, and next we're going to evaluate the rail as a solution, and finally we're going to consider what the future might look like in the rapidly developing Norfolk area. The need for expansion of transportation capacity along the 400 corridor is clear. Atlanta's sprawl exacerbates the transportation problem. The average commute distance in Atlanta is greater than 96 major metropolitan areas studied by Brookings, Nieborn and Holborn, 2015. No room left to expand road infrastructure. The recent openings of shoulders for traffic demonstrates this problem. Access to the additional lanes during the busiest hours on Georgia 400 is not only beneficial to commuters, but it will maximize the use of our existing infrastructure, Government Nathan Dill said at William in 2012. Roadway infrastructure is a capacity cost to add lanes in the most congested parts of 400 would be astronomical. Widen bridges, span, etc. Road construction is extremely expensive and time-consuming, and once it's built, capacity isn't elastic. There's over 400,000 motorists pass through the I-285 Georgia 400 interchange each day. The Georgia Department of Transportation estimates the design build cost to be $1.6 billion. Office of the Governor Press release 2014. Construction is expected to last until 2019 if all goes well. Once a road is constructed, the number of lanes available generally doesn't change. Now that the challenge before us is clear, let's look at how rail can not only solve the problem, but it can put the Norfolk areas on a course of continued and sustainable development. Rail provides a solution that is for more elastic than road infrastructure. The number of trains and the capacity of those trains can be adjusted to meet ridership's numbers. Attracting younger generations to Alpharetta, they don't necessarily want to do the traditional suburban experience. Everyone wants to attract the millennial generation, and the formula seems to have been laid out. They want to drive less, they want to walk more, they want to bike more, they want to have plenty of entertainment options other than front door. Rail transit tends to increase regional employment, business activity, and productivity. Littman of 2012 in the article January 16, Rail Transit in America, retrieved from Victoria, Policy. There are 2 possibilities. Atlanta fails to master enough political will to commit to a rail project through Norfolk County and simply maintains the status quo. Commute times continue to skyrocket. Property value declines as home buyers are driven into the city. More pollution. Business may move further from the center of Atlanta. With little room to expand roadways, any future expansion becomes very expensive. Younger generations don't find the area attractive. They choose to live closer to downtown. Or Atlanta can recognize the future requires coordinated investment to develop rail now. Several studies using various methodologies indicate that Highly quality transit tends to reduce vehicle traffic congestion on a corridor. Growth in North Fulton and Fulton will be fueled by commute options. Benefits to the taxpayers include cost savings for mass transit total more than $14 billion in large rail cities, $5.4 billion in small rail cities, and $1.8 billion in bus-only cities, considering only the 50 largest U.S. cities. Imagine what it would be like to drive just a few minutes to a modern train station and spend the remainder of your commute reading the newspaper, getting some work done, studying for a following exam the next day, or just relaxing instead of sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic. So why is this topic relevant now? After many years of inaction, our elected officials are finally starting to see the light. And yes, the light is an oncoming train. But it is important that we reach out to them and let them know that their constituents are demanding action on their part. MARTA's board has settled on a so-called locally preferred alternative under which heavy rail would run north from its current termination at North Springs and parallel Georgia 400, running first past of the highway, crossing to the west, and then arching back east before terminating at the Windward Parkway, Wesley of 2015. This plan must be pushed forward and approved now. Please write or email your elected officials to let them know that they need to develop a plan to fund this rail project. Let them know that Atlanta is at stake and North Fulton's future depends on it.